Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Wednesday, March 2nd, 2016, around 8:06 in the evening, Billerica, Massachusetts. The sun went down. It's starting to get cold. Tomorrow's going to be about in the 30s, maybe some snow on Friday, with about a coating to an inch up here, but more down Cape Cod and winter storm watch. But that's subject to change. These storms could go up or down, but this might be the last one of it, because next week could be warmer than usual. Could be 70 next Wednesday. We'll wait and see about that. Some news to report. The Patriots released two players. Wide receiver Brandon LaFell and tight end Scott Chandler. And the Sports Authority has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, and they're going to be closing 140 stores nationwide. There's rumors that it might be bought out by Dick's Sporting Goods. Not good at all, because once that goes out of, if it's merged, it goes out of business, less competition, and that's not good. And that's about it on the news. My third and final video blog of the night is about the late, great WWE Hall of Famer, Big John Studd. Big John Studd was in the world of sports entertainment for close to 20 years. He was famous for being one of the best heels of the 1980s, having a long-running feud with Andre the Giant. John Studd's real name was John Minton, and he was born in Pennsylvania, and he grew up in Virginia. He was a big man. He grew legitimately to 6'9" tall, 6'9" tall, and he got trained to become a professional wrestler by Killer Kowalski. He made his debut in the early 1970s in a couple of territories as Big Man Minton, and then in 1972 he went to the Worldwide Wrestling Federation under the name Chuck O'Connor. He was a big wrestler. He was a mid-carder, beating like a couple of wrestlers like Tony Garea and Gorilla Monsoon. He got a couple of shots at Pedro Morales for the WWF title, but he was unable to beat Pedro. And then in 1973 he left the WWF and wrestled in many regional territories using the Chuck O'Connor name and his real name, John Minton. Regional territories, going around for a few years. His first major run was in 1976 when he was under a mask as the Executioner number 2, teaming with Executioner number 1, who was Killer Kowalski, and they were managed by Captain Lou Albano, and they held the WWF tag team titles for about several months in 1976 until they were stripped because there was a third Executioner who turned out to be Nikolai Volkov. After they were stripped of the tag team titles, they continued on for a little while. Eventually, that gimmick was dropped, and John moved to other regional territories, including Texas, where he wrestled under the name Big John Studd, and he was a masked wrestler nicknamed Captain USA. He was managed by Gary Hart. He won a few titles in Texas, feuded with the Von Erichs, and eventually John Studd went to Mid-Atlantic, teaming with Ken Patera, winning the Mid-Atlantic tag team titles and having a few feuds with Ricky Steamboat, and had a few NWA World title matches with Ric Flair. And also John Studd went to the AWA in Florida, but he wasn't really pushed there as a top wrestler, and Big John Studd's favorite move was the backbreaker, and the gimmick was in a couple of these regional territories, the preliminary wrestlers would be carried out on the stretcher. In 1982, Big John Studd went to the WWE, and he was managed by Classy Freddie Blassie, and his gimmick was he could not be slammed, and the build up to the television, and many of the wrestlers would submit to John Studd's finishing maneuvers, the backbreaker or the bear hug, and they would be carried out on a stretcher. And John Studd wore thick lifts in his wrestling boots so he could look taller. Same night as Andre the Giant, John Studd had a house show run with Bob Backlund over the WWE title in early 1983. Bob Backlund beat John Studd many occasions with either a small package or the crossface Chicken Wayne, and then John Studd gets into a long-running feud with Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant feuded with John Studd for over 2 years in the WWE. They tried a body slam challenge on television, and Freddie Blassie blocked it for John Studd. But Andre the Giant body slam John Studd on house show after house show after house show. Eventually, John Studd got a new manager, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and John Studd feuded with Hulk Hogan over the WWF title in 1984. But John Studd's famous feud with Andre continued, and John Studd teamed with Ken Patera. They faced off against Andre the Giant and Esty Jones in a tag team match on WWE Championship Wrestling in December of 1984. This was the infamous haircut match. John Studd and Ken Patera beat up Andre the Giant, did double slam, and then Bobby the Brain Heenan got the scissors. They cut Andre's hair. It was the most humiliating thing the Giant's been ever through, and Vince McMahon was a gross misconduct in the history of the WWE. And then this was to set up WrestleMania 1 match between Andre the Giant and Big John Studd. If Andre the Giant slammed Big John Studd, he would get $15,000, but if he didn't, he would retire from the world of professional wrestling. Andre the Giant slammed Big John Studd, and he won the match, being still undefeated. He threw some of the money away to the crowd, but Bobby the Brain Heenan grabbed it. And then Andre the Giant and Big John Studd continued to feud for many more months. Eventually, Big John Studd teamed with King Kong Bundy, and they formed an awesome team. They were a mid-card tag team. They never got the one at the WWE Tag Team Championship. John Studd continued to have feud with Andre here and then, matches with Battle Royals. In 1986, around April, Andre the Giant was suspended, and he came back under the Giant Machine, but it was Andre all along. But they did not unmask him on television, and this is when Big John Studd was having some problems wrestling because he was getting big, plus he used HGH, and he his width of his face grew, and then he got real overweight. And in November of 1986, Big John Studd left professional wrestling for 2 years to embark on an acting career, which didn't really take off. He was in a few movies here and there, but it didn't really take off. There was rumors he was going to come back to WrestleMania 3 and be in the corner of Andre the Giant, but that never came to be. In late 1988, Big John Studd returned to the WWE as a face. He fired Bobby the Brain Heenan, and he was being cheered for the first time, but John Studd was sloppy in the ring. He was well over 400 pounds. He won the WWE Royal Rumble in 1989, which was the worst Royal Rumble win of all time, and John Studd did not really get a major push. He feuded with Andre again, but it was awful because this is when Andre the Giant's body was turning on him because of his size, and John Studd really did not really like Andre the Giant that much, and Andre really didn't like John Studd either. Plus, Big John Studd was not getting paid a lot that he wanted to come. He was only getting maybe paid $4,000 a week in a big top spot. It came to a head on a TV tape, and in like June of 1989, when Big John Studd cried to Vince McMahon, says, "I can't take this anymore. Andre was threatening to kill me," but Vince said, Andre's just being joking with you. Big John Studd walked out of the WWE. He never returned there. But John Studd was a financially wealthy man. He saved a lot of his money, and he invested it in real estate in the Virginia area. He made a few independent appearances in the early 1990s, but he was terribly out of shape. He actually had a pro wrestling program on the radio called Let's Talk Wrestling with Big John Studd on the Sports Final radio network in the early 1990s. His co-host was Jason Wolf, who eventually became the program director of WEEI for many years. And Big John Studd was actually training with Ron Reese, who they really wanted to make it to the WWF or the WWE, be called the Giants, but that was not meant to be. Big John Studd's last wrestling match was in October of 1993. He was a last-minute replacement for Superfly Jimmy Snuka for a match against the Honky Tonk Man, but John had no stamina, and after getting out of the shower, he felt a big lump in his chest, and the test revealed that he had Hodgkin's disease. For the rest of his life, 18 months, John Studd was in and out of hospitals, and the cancer wasn't in remission a couple of times, but it came back, but it spread throughout his body, and in March of 1995, John Studd passed away at the young age of 47. Very, very sad. But his Hodgkin's disease was caused by the HGH, and it was sad. Later on that year, he was inducted into the WCW Hall of Fame, which got Gordon Solie mad because he never had a career in WCW. And in 2004, he was inducted posthumously into the WWE Hall of Fame by his son, John Minton Jr., who tried out for Tough Enough a few years ago. John Studd's probably one of the best big men heel of all time, and his feud with Andre the Giant was legendary, probably one of the top 10 feuds in WWE history. And that's about it on Big John Studd, and that's about it on these video blogs: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. Tomorrow, you're going to get 3 more video blogs as usual. First video blog will be about the continuation of the top 67 NHL players of all time since 1967, 50 through 41. Second video blog of the day will be about MBTA commuter rail route from Boston South Station to Providence. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about the personality profile, which will be about another big man in professional wrestling, King Kong Bundy. Give me 5. 1, 2, 3. No, I want 5. 4, 5. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Bunny guy. Molly Rosenblatt of WCCOX and has nice legs. Elizabeth Hart, so stunning. She's got nice legs as well. Amy Swansea's the best. And in the words of Dickie Ackroyd Jr., director of the Boys and Girls Club of Great America, the more the merrier. Don't forget Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. Questions, comments, concerns, shoutouts, plugs, and video blog suggestions. Send it to me, and it will be addressed. And only 20 more days into the second Ask Rich question and answer video blog. Good night, everybody. Bye now. Sweet dreams.